Why hello there everyone, it's me Epic What If, and today we have a brand new episode on What If Naruto Had Abandoned the Hidden Leaf Village. Now I shall allow you guys in the comments down below to name this chapter whatever you desire. It is on you. The most liked comment could potentially be named this series. So it's on you to comment down below and like those comments and like some other shit. I don't fucking know. So if you guys want to see another part, I'd request about 20 likes and 20 comments, which seeing as how last time I requested the comments, one singular man with a purpose managed to fulfill it. I fear nothing, I expect rather, nothing less from this one. So let's get into the episode. Now last time we left off with Naruto abandoning the Hidden Leaf Village. Raise any bells? I don't know, fucking shit. Okay, Naruto leaving the Hidden Leaf Village for Uzushiogakure. Naruto is a bit of a dark personality, not hesitating from breaking someone's limbs, but will give them a fair warning beforehand in order for them to escape Naruto's wrath. So, whatever. Naruto was beat up by some villagers and he decided it's too fucking much, I'm leaving. He leaves, he bids farewell to his friends, Shikamaru and Choji were the only friends essentially that Naruto had, and well, he bid farewell to those two and left the Hidden Leaf Village with a sword and a purpose for the Shiogakure, hid from the Anbu, yada yada yudi yudi. So let's move on. Now, Naruto would spend about 5-6 months outside of the Hidden Leaf Village in Uzushiogakure village, hiding from the Anbu members who come around looking for Naruto, because Naruto is still a big asset for the Hidden Leaf Village. He is essentially their only nuke. So it was kind of a shame that they let the nuke go away. Anyway, Naruto hides from them, utilizing some seals to seal off his chakra to seem like a normal person with no chakra levels, and use some transformation jutsu to transform himself into an old hermit whenever somebody comes by, and he just looks like some old guy who's trying to rebuild this damned village from the ground up. Nothing more, nothing less. Naruto is mostly left alone. Now, before I move on, if you guys can hear some dogs barking in the background, do forgive me, I can't shut them up. Let's move on. Now, Naruto is obviously hiding, but what's happening inside of the Hidden Leaf Village? Naruto leaving the Hidden Leaf Village has led to a few talks going around. Mostly, a few people do recognize that Naruto has suddenly stopped appearing where he normally would, inside of the academy. Sasuke notices that Naruto has disappeared essentially, and none of the teachers are willing to talk about it. None of them even reference him anymore other than Iruka Sensei, who still calls out Naruto's name in hopes that Naruto would return to the class and say, "Yes, Sensei." Sasuke notices this mainly because Naruto kept on challenging him in order to see how his abilities rank up against Sasuke, and combat-wise, Sasuke would consider Naruto his equal. Now, with Naruto leaving, the team selections do in fact change. I'd say Kiba would be a perfect person to take Naruto's place in the Team 7 lineup, seeing as how Kiba would be Naruto light for the Hidden Leaf Village. Now, a weird moron who is trying to prove himself to be stronger than he actually is, gets some approval from the others, and is the lowest in the class in terms of academics. It would definitely be Kiba who took Naruto's spot. So that's that. Now, moving on, Naruto, outside of the village, he's growing in strength as he has to fend for himself, and a few rogue ninjas here and there do challenge him. They see Naruto mostly as an old hermit because that's what he transforms himself as most of the time in order to prevent anybody from finding out who he is. So they think they can rob him easily, nothing big, nothing new, nothing brand. But Naruto's sword is usually hanging from his waist, and they're like, "Oh, that's a cool sword, let me take that." And only when they lose a few fingers to that sword do they realize, "Oh no, this is dangerous." Naruto learned mostly from experience, fighting off bandits and, hunting animals, fending off the wilder animals, and occasionally running across some rogue ninjas such as Haku, potentially Zabuza, and some other characters. Hell, he might have even stumbled across a few future Akatsuki members. Him being disguised as a hermit, they mostly just be like, "Oh, excuse me, old man, allow us to move through." So he's mostly left alone, but the few that do try to attack him, they regret it immediately. Now, about 5 months later, the team selection processes begin, and obviously Team 7 is elected, with Kakashi as the leader. Now, I know this might be a concern that would Kakashi accept this team this year around without Naruto there? I do have a feeling that he might, seeing as how Kiba would fill in that Naruto role pretty well. However, Kiba's arrogance could get in the way, so it's kinda risky, kinda iffy. But I do hope that Kakashi might, if nothing else, to train the only left Uchiha in the village, so he might still accept the teaching position this year. So that's that. Now, the teams, they go on, as you would expect, doing some D-rank missions, but Kiba and Sasuke eventually getting bored. Kiba, more vocal than anyone else, would demand Kakashi hand them a high rank mission because they can handle it, they're strong. And Kakashi, still feeling a bit unsure, would be like, okay, the next time I talk to the Hokage, the first C rank mission, I shall accept it and we shall go on our way. Now, in the village itself, Shikamaru and Choji, I keep calling him Shino for some reason. Shino's in my brain. Shikamaru and Choji are gonna be, leading their own investigation as to where Naruto might have gone, seeing as how Naruto is their friend and potentially even their best friend. So they're still wondering where on earth Naruto might have fled to and if he's okay. The Anbu have been downgraded because they feel the Anbu's resources could be better utilized other places, so it's mostly a few Jonins that are being sent out in search of Naruto, and they have no luck. They can't find him when the Anbu couldn't find him. What good is a few Jonins, or are a few Jonins gonna be, truly? Holy fuck, that was like a stroke for me. Oh my god. Okay, moving on. So this Team 7 moves out and they get the Haku contract. It's fairly simple. Well, I guess not quite. You'll see in a while. Now, the Haku contract comes along their way. It's most like escort this bridge builder to the bridge and help him build and blah blah blah. The bridge builder's like, what the fuck is this scrawny little pink creature that's in this team? And let me voice act Tarzan. What the fuck is this scrawny pink thing? Is this supposed to be a ninja? Kinda like that. Holy fuck, that was loud. Anyway, so Sakura gets pissed, but she can't do jack shit because she's Sakura, and they go on with the mission. Now, close to the village, whatever fucking shit, the Demon Brothers attack, and Kiba and Sasuke do better than Naruto would. Naruto froze, Kiba probably wouldn't freeze. He would probably seize this opportunity as his time to shine, and try to outshine Sasuke. However, Sasuke is still being this cool emo brat. He's like, yes, I have vengeance on my mind, and I've trained to become far stronger than you mere mortals. I shall kill my brother and avenge my clan. And he takes them down. I do hope that was not there. Anyway, moving on. So, the bridge builder then explains, it's like, this fucking mission, it was like a B rank mission, but I didn't have money, so I'm like, fucking C rank. It's like, please, yeah. And Kakashi was like, well, we're almost there, so might as well move on. Sending a clone to report the fucking Demon Brothers, because I do think they have a bounty on their head. The Demon Brothers are taken away by a shadow clone, or rather just a clone, I don't know. They're taken away to, off the village, and Naruto, he was tailing, not necessarily tailing them, but he was tailing the Demon Brothers, and he sees this as an opportunity to capture them, so he does, pops the shadow clone from a distance. Kakashi notices that his shadow clone has disappeared, but he's like, I don't have time to go away, I'm gonna have to leave that. because he's already at the village now, and the Shadow Clone's far too far away, and he can't risk leaving Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba alone. So he's like, okay, fuck that noise. We'll check it out when we return. Maybe there's some clues there. Naruto mostly tailed the Demon Brothers because bounty, money, he needs the cash. He's kind of like he's a semi-bounty hunter. He's strong enough to handle himself. So, it's that, I guess. So Naruto obviously takes the Demon Brothers and he transforms himself into an old hermit once more. That's kind of his persona, and he hands them over to another village as, like the village where the bounty was highest, so he gets paid. And he buys a few resources, goes back, and like, seeing as how he saw Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba, this does interest him a bit, so he goes their way to see what they were actually up to there. Now the normal shenanigans go on. Zabuza attacks, Kakashi defends. Naruto not being there could pose a bit of a problem because it was Naruto and Sasuke working together, which arguably would work better than Kiba and Sasuke because of Kiba's arrogance and Sasuke's, well, even with Naruto there was a massive reluctance to work with him, and it was a life or death situation, but Naruto's plan was good enough, so it worked. With Kiba, that is less likely to happen, but they do try to save him, like both of them bomb rushing Zabuza. Doesn't work, obviously. Now, Naruto, who's been watching this from a distance, notices that there's somebody else witnessing the fight alongside him, and he knows this chakra. He knows it's Haku, and he knows where he is. Now, Naruto had met Haku a few times, mostly while hunting for wild animals, and Haku was just picking herbs, so they've had a few conversations, and Naruto would consider Haku to be a very harmless person, unless you're against Haku, in which case he would kill you without hesitation, so that's that. And he does say, well, unfortunately there happen to be people from my former village, Haku. Don't know if I should save them or not, but... And well, he and Haku do strike up a conversation, whilst Zabuza, Kakashi, and the lot are fighting down there. So, he's like, so, Haku, it's been a while, has it not? I do wonder what you're up to nowadays. Haven't seen you around picking berries or herbs for medicine. I have wondered if you were alright. And Haku, being his kind, nice self, he's like, oh yes, Naruto, I was pretty fine. It was, we got this contract from Gato and his men, so we had to tail him around. This bridge, we're preventing it from being built or whatever. It's nonsense. And while they're conversing, they're up there, Kakashi manages to escape the prison, and he almost kills Zabuza once more, but this time around it's much closer than you'd think. It's like Zabuza almost got Kakashi, but Kakashi was a bit better, which gave him the upper hand, and Haku's like, oops, gotta go. Throws the Senbone on Zabuza, and fucking Zabuza knocks out. Kakashi's like, what the fuck? Haku picks him up and just leaves. Naruto still has his chakra adapters, as I would like to call them, essentially the steels, I'd call them the chakra adapters, I don't know. So his chakra is mostly masked, but Kakashi does notice this other chakra that was witnessing this fight as well, so he's a bit suspicious of that. But overall, they don't have the energy to pursue Zabuza. Now Kakashi is even more injured than in the original, so he's just knocked out right then and there, and taken away to the village where he heals up. Now, Naruto then goes on to, converse with Haku a bit while he's preparing some medicine for Zabuza to heal him up. And he does strike up a conversation with Zabuza about Gato and why he would work for Gato. Because Naruto had heard of Gato's, his reputation, I would say, outside of being a very untrustworthy little hog, I suppose. So he advises Zabuza to do the wise thing, which is take the payment in advance to actually prevent this bridge from being built, as he could easily use the excuse of a Jonin squad arriving in the bridge building town, and he could be like, I did not sign up to fight a Jonin, so if you want me to continue, I suggest paying me in advance. Kind of like that jazz, so that's that. Zabuza does find that to be a remarkably wise decision from Naruto and does agree to it, and Gato, seeing as how he needs Zabuza more than ever now, he's like, alright, I'll fucking pay you. He knows that he's gonna kill Zabuza after this entire ordeal is done either way, so he'll get his money back. So it's like, no big. I'll give him the money, he'll come back to me later. Now, Naruto is still like around just spectating the fucking village. He's like, what the fuck is going on with these people? But eventually he decides, well, it's nothing much interesting. It might be they've come here on a mission, probable actually. And he's just like, alright, fuck that noise, I gotta go. And he thinks, well, Gato's here, and there is a massive bounty on him from the Hidden Leaf. I could just capture him and sell him off. Naruto is kind of a bounty hunter now, so it kind of works for him. Now, Gato does not have the hundreds of thugs and bandits that he had while facing off against Zabuza, because he probably got them like that morning to like kill off Zabuza, so he's like, fuck that noise, I'll gather them later. He probably already paid for them, it's just like they're not gathered up yet. So Gato only has a few of his bodyguards who are probably strong ninjas and strong shinobis in their own respect, but it's like not really as good as 100, 200 men combined. So that's that. Naruto decides to, slice off or axe off these unnamed shinobi. He finds they've not really been marked anywhere, so they're really of no use. So he's like, chop them off, take Gato, flee off the area. And Zabuza's already been paid, so Zabuza doesn't really mind. He's like, well, he's been paid, I don't have to do this fucking shit, Gato's gone. So Zabuza suddenly disappears, which makes Kakashi even more suspicious, because Zabuza does not just disappear. He knows Zabuza's alive. He knows Haku, whoever this other guy was, he took him. He knows there was another character that was spectating the battle, so he is suspicious beyond belief, and he'll probably start investigating this on his own time. Naruto mostly kills off the henchmen essentially easily. He's dressed up as a old hermit, so they don't think he's trouble. Naruto, in his disguise, goes to Gato's headquarters, where like the henchmen are like, hey old man, if you don't wish to die, fuck off. But Naruto's like, oh, I'm just here because I have some information for Lord Gato-sama. They find it a bit suspicious, but they're like, it's just an old fucking man, what the fuck is he gonna do, right? So they let him in, and he's like, boss, I've got some news for you. There's this old man that wants to meet you. Gato's suspicious, but he's like, bring him in. Then Naruto shows his true colors, slices off the two people, like, he essentially kills him. I mean, he kinda used to it now. It's not really that big a deal for Naruto to kill a few people who are essentially kinda evil. But, he manages to he kills them off easily using his sword. He just like swings it around, 2 slices, both of them dead. Gato's a bit shocked. Before Gato can react, Naruto quickly moves behind him, knocks him out with a chop, and, carries Gato's body, teleports, runs out of there faster than most people would actually be able to see him. So Naruto, sells Gato off, he gets paid for that jazz, he moves on, and like Zabuza, he tells Zabuza what happened. He's like, I kinda had to like kidnap Gato, sell him off to a village. He was really ranked high, so I had to do that noise. I hope you don't mind. And Zabuza's like, well, Gato's not here, I don't necessarily have to do this. So Zabuza leaves the village alone, and he finds Naruto to be quite an interesting character. So Zabuza goes with Naruto to where he's staying. Zabuza doesn't really have a place to stay. Haku seems to trust Naruto, so he's like, why not give this guy a try, maybe he could be of some interest, and all of them head back to Uzushio village. And that's about it for this episode. It was a bit on the longer side. I do hope I can upload it today or over the time. Don't mind me. So I'm gonna leave, I'd request you guys to comment down below what you want to name this series. It's on you guys, it's the audience. Look at that, you're so important to me. I love you all. Except for a few of you who might be bots, but I love most of you, so that's something, I guess. Now, for the 3 people that do desire to stick around until the end for some fucked up reason, here's a song, because I love you so very much. It's a bad song, but I still love you. I'll see you sooner than you think. I'm letting you go. I'll see you sooner than you think. I'm letting you go. The things you said to me, I'm letting you know. The things you said to me, I'm letting you know. When you coming down below, I find myself to be lost in your soul. I find myself to be lost in your soul.